Merhaba sevgili izleyiciler ve Biraz TV'de bugün yine özel bir röportajla karşınızdayız. Speedinvest Partner'larından Stefan Klestil bugün bizimle beraber. Speedinvest biliyorsunuz iyzico'nun baştan beri yatırımcısı, aynı zamanda FinTech alanında yatırımlarıyla tanınıyor dünya çapında. Bugün Stefan'la FinTech, iyzico yatırımları ve Türkiye ve Orta Doğu bölgesinin bu alandaki potansiyelini konuşacağız. Önce kendisine aslında bu rolleriyle ilgili bir soralım. Bize kendi görüşünü ve deneyimini anlatsın. Stefan, thanks for accepting our request and welcome.
Pleasure being here. Thanks.
I want to first start with your role in international payments and banking technologies, because you're active in this area since 1995. Can you just tell us more about your journey?
Sure, no, pleasure. Pleasure being here in Istanbul, and as always. So, yeah, in many ways I'm an old dinosaur. Started with sort of old banking before it was called FinTech in '95, in the late 90s. And in many ways payments at the time was considered a very boring type of activity, and funny enough it's become extremely exciting. And iyzico is a good example of what fintech can bring to payments, and I think it's all about mobile. It's about design, design that people like to engage with.
Yeah, more user oriented.
And usability, just things. People want things to work. They want them to work immediately and without failure. And so for us, it made a lot of sense to invest a few years ago into this business, because at the end it serves many small web merchants and also consumers to transact in the internet in a very fast, efficient and cheap way.
And you mentioned from your iyzico investment, so I'll go with that. What was the main criteria? I know that you met with the founder before the round.
Well, I knew Barbara's from a joint company we used to work with at First Data, and so when he called me up years later with his idea to start iyzico here in Turkey, I was very excited because he's a great guy, and so he was able to assemble a top team around him. And so it was not a very difficult decision to come here.
Yeah, apart from the founder's profile, what were the main KPIs, maybe, or
just the size of the market? I mean, it was clear that e-commerce, like everywhere in the world, was exploding, also in Turkey, and that there was a gap in for web merchants to set up a business and to accept payments was a very cumbersome process. It took a long time, and so those guys revolutionized that by making it super simple to immediately accept payments and start a business. So it was very obvious that would work out well, and it did.
As you said, e-commerce was like the most promising thing at that time, criteria maybe, but today it's very much different, right? I mean, the criteria that you're looking at when you're investing in fintech companies, what are they?
Well, it's team always. I mean, we come in very early when we invest at Speedinvest. We're typically the first institutional investor. There's sometimes the founders have invested some of their own money. They typically work for years without charging a salary, so it's a big investment for them. Some family and friends' money, but then typically we come in already. So it's really early. Sometimes the product isn't developed yet, and in many ways, the only thing you really have is the people, the founders, and a concept, and so. And that's where the journey begins, and afterwards, of course, it's a lot of hard work. We spend a lot of time in the first 12 to 18 months, especially with founders.
Yeah.
So we're not just investors giving them money. We're really here to help them.
Yeah, and another company which that you're helping is Wirecard, right? You're also on the.
It's a bit different. I mean, Wirecard in many ways is sort of first generation, 2000, 2001, when the internet First internet wave came along. That's where this company is from, and now it's a very, very sizable, almost global business, almost 6 billion market cap. So you can see over time how big and sizable these companies can become. My role is very different. I'm non-executive director, so I'm not in any operation role, and it's not related to Speedinvest. But for us, Wirecard is, if you will, a benchmark for what fintech companies can become.
And they acquired TreePay in Turkey, and one of the taglines of this acquisition was just expansion in the Middle East and Turkey as well. How do you see the market, the Turkey and the Middle East market, in terms of fintech potential?
Well, Wirecard is also very active in Southeast Asia and other parts of the world, so it made sense for them to get engaged in Turkey as well. How do these markets develop? There's an underlying logic which is true for any part of the world, that people are transacting more and more on the internet and mobile, and so a lot of the infrastructure that banks and other financial institutions have built over decades will be put into question, frankly, and so. In many ways, it's a collaboration at this point between banks and fintechs, but it can change over time. So let's see where it goes. But I think at the end of the day, the real value is in the ability of consumers and businesses to do things a lot better and faster than before. That's for sure. So, and of course in Turkey and the Middle East, there's enormous growth rates in internet, and that will remain for many, many years. Although there is a very strongly established culture of shops in Turkey as well, we see that. So that there is a part of the population which might never migrate to the internet, and that's okay. But we do see Turkish population is super engaged. Mobile, and when it comes to mobile, I mean, we've seen all the numbers. Facebook engagement, etc., is one of the highest in Europe and the world. So, there's a lot of internet junkies and mobile junkies here in Turkey.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and mobile is one of the I think, I mean, in everything, mobile is one of the main trends in fintech as well. If I ask you what are the main trends that you just observe throughout the world in fintech right now, what are they?
Well, mobile is driving a lot of the change in fintech, simply because these little companies, these startups, are much better in creating a product that young people like. I mean, we're talking especially about young people, 18 to 35-year-olds. They are used to their WhatsApp environment, and that's how they want to make business and payments. They don't want to leave that environment, and so these young startups are pretty good to design financial services the way young people like it. What other trends are there? I think there's a huge trend in lending. I mean, we're just talking about payments now, but there's lending, of course. We see in the US, also in Europe, there is a whole segment of small businesses which do not have access to bank lending. And so fintechs have found a way to score these businesses and give them small credit that is very efficient and that banks have not done before. So I think that's a very good thing, because we need to have more financing available for small business. So lending is super important. What else is happening? Insurance, of course. I mean, for us, fintech also includes insurance. There's a lot going on there. We're very bullish on that. Just the ability to see all your insurance policies in one app, to have full transparency about what it covers and how much it costs, and from then on, create new insurance services. That's very, very exciting. And we're still at the beginning. Yeah,
and it has the potential to change the way we work in the end. So it's pretty, I think, very interesting area to look at, the insurance, I think.
Sure. I mean, you basically, in theory, you will have situations where you can buy insurance on the spot just for whatever you needed to have. You go on a sailing vacation, you just buy the accident coverage. You buy it and then you end it, and you only pay for those 3 days. I mean, you will see models like that emerging. They're quite exciting. And of course, big data is driving everything. So you will see very soon a lot of contextual based financial services.
Yeah.
Meaning, you know, basically your mobile becomes your personal financial advisor.
Yeah.
And he obviously can see what you're spending on and can suggest you, for instance, certain attractive savings opportunities, or also suggest insurance coverage when you go on a ski vacation, etc. So we're just at the very beginning of that development, and fintechs will be at the forefront of this for sure. Yeah.
Definitely, yes. And my last question will be about Speedinvest's, priorities for the next year or the midterm, and your personal thoughts about the future of fintech, and maybe we just mentioned it.
Yeah, we don't only do fintech, so we also like what we call deep tech. So these are video streaming technologies or network performance improvement. So so you will see a lot of developments there. I guess we're in the midst, at the beginning of a big revolution, and love to support young people to build great companies. That's ultimately, and it doesn't matter where. It could be in Turkey or in Austria or in UK. So.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Sevgili seyirciler, bir başka röportajda daha görüşmek üzere. Bize katıldığınız için teşekkürler.